Felix Kwakye Ofosu, a minister in charge of government communication, what to be at the Amani NPP MP Abu Jinapor Samuel Abdullah Jinapor Obekaya in the course of the week, and Abu Jinapor any majority leader Mahama Yaraga a clashy pa or parliamentary nyasem kito at the point Mahama Yaraga krambo busa Abu Jinapor say hey krachi primary school be na okoye because o masinye ni nyina presidential jet bambedwudwom e de ama unse na Janto TV de mepacho ubahase a obe click subscribe button na we bell notification icon no na wa turn no say na video ni drop ya mepacho won sabeka wo hwenya wo like it no leave you comment in the comment section what you make of the video afi so obe share na for front so anya bi ahwe de omni say Felix Kwakye Ofosu ekopiem e good morning Ghana enne anopa na ne nkomodi diem no say Abu Jinapor last announced this week a copy of Parliament. Mobeka no ni Mahama Yaraga e de pempem so on the 2026 budget no. Was it Abu Jinapor e twantro. So we twantro e trofo. Ai but menka so e trofo but was it Abu Jinapor asamena o kan ma oni Mahama Yaraga nya ntokwa on the floor of Parliament no. Abu Jinapor e twantro. De meye ni me pesa what story na Janto TV. Obehwa wie no wate ase. De e behwa ase di card work Parliament. They started the fierce clash between Abu Jinapor and Mahama Yaraga ni nyina 2026 budget na parliamentarians ni debate in parliament na Abu Jinapor ye MPP MP no sorry no jan na so semasa ade na e budget ni mu no MDC for allocate $1.2 billion so me dey kwakoto presidential jets ai na sasem no kan no he was fact checked by the majority leader Mahama Yaraga and Mahama Yaraga ka che say won already budget ba bia no a budget in yesterday said aban we at the $1.2 billion e quarter presidential jet enti se wo se onu Abu Jinapor no ege de okai ni dia on proving it wrong and Abu Jinapor ba biem and obe we dey ten na fe we provide clarity e ma Mahama Yaraga sa ba samasa ani asem na odi kakai no e yento na utwaye because we initial comment ne say aban we allocate $1.2 billion ye fan quarter presidential jet me wa yento sa no kra omni say e Air Force no mo retooling including a lot of things. And for you to say $1.2 billion has been allocated to purchase new presidential jets, no, and yet they no credit. And your best was on the floor of Parliament, no, expunge it from the records. And then the kofa fierce clash in the baye. Ni Mahama Yaraga ka, na just Abu Jinapor ka, Mahama Yaraga ka, na Abu Jinapor ka. Afi de Mahama Yaraga krampo e kachira no obusa Abu Jinapor se kachi. Oko primary school bay because o masenye abusafo na nyasem keto akra. Me say mo akwa kwhwe video na I think about 10 minutes. Afi oba response of Felix Kwakye Ofosu ewoma Abu Jinapor no me be brɛ o.
The government, the speaker, in spite of all these problems, the government wants to spend $1.2 billion United States dollars to purchase presidential debts. To purchase presidential jets. 1.2 billion Ghana cedis to purchase presidential debt. Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about $1.2 billion United States dollars to purchase presidential debt.
We agreed from the onset. To allow free flow of debate, and we're all committed to that. But then we caution that we should be accurate in our statistics and our figures. Mr. Speaker, he said that in this budget, $1.2 billion has been allocated to buy a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, he should just show us which line item contained in the budget has an allocation or a proposal of $1.2 billion for the purchase of a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, it is important. This is a House of Records. Otherwise, you have to expunge this from the records of this House. Because nowhere in this budget is $1.2 billion allocated for the purchase of a presidential jet. $1.2 billion. How much is Air Force One? Air Force One, how much that?
Mr. Speaker, and at page 184 of the budget statement, you will see retooling of the Air Force, Mr. Speaker, and retooling of the Air Force. You will see CAPEX, Mr. Speaker, CAPEX meaning capital expenditure, Mr. Speaker, capital expenditure. And Mr. Speaker, I referred only to the 2 presidential jets, which I referred to the 2 presidential jets, which are. But Mr. Speaker, if you have the budget there, please, if you have the budget with you, you will see, Mr. Speaker, if you have the budget at page 184, you will see at CAPEX that what is actually being budgeted for the retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces is Ghana Air Force, Mr. Speaker, is 2.5 billion.
The honorable member who just spoke is a former cabinet minister for lands and natural resources. I need not to lecture him on the value and importance of accuracy. Mr. Speaker, he referred us to page 184, and I have opened page 184 and item 34, Ministry of Defense. Let's go through the items. The third item under Ministry of Defense is retooling of the Air Force. Retooling of the Air Force. And the figure there, CAPEX, is 2,532 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I went to primary school in Boku. You may doubt the quality of the schools in Boku, but I cannot imagine which primary school you went, where you were taught that if you convert 2 billion into dollars, you get 1 billion. Mr. Speaker, let's not forget what was the issue. Let's get back to what was really the issue. The honorable member in the debate
Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapor, I think you have to stop what you are doing.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
What was the issue? In Honorable Jinapor's submissions, in his comments, he said that we were buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion. He said we're buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion. That was why I got up. I normally don't interrupt debate. I have a book. I take note of everybody's argument. As I'm sitting, I'm writing. I take note of everybody's argument because I will have an opportunity to respond in the end. But when you throw out a figure out there that we are buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion, the cameras captured it. We can play it back. The cameras captured it. That was why I got up on my feet and said, no, it's not possible. I even asked you, how much does Air Force One cost? So clearly he was wrong. When you now get up and say that commitments for the next 4 years for retooling.
Honorable members, I am observing carefully the disorderly conduct.
Mr. Speaker, I was in this chamber sometimes, I think more than a decade before many of you arrived. What you are doing, we've done worse things. So I can assure you, it won't stop me from making my point. I'm saying that it will not stop me from making the point I want to make today. Even if we will sit here till midnight, my point I will make. And the point is that you lied when you said that we are spending $1.2 billion to buy a presidential jet. You lied. You lied. You lied. You are now trying to correct yourself by saying that all commitments for the next 4 years to retool the Air Force.
Honorable Majority Leader.
To retool the Air Force is $1.2 billion.
Honorable Majority Leader, with all due respect, the statement may not be correct, but the use of the word lied. I will ask that the lie be expunged. Order. I have given my directives, so all should resume their seats. So, Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, if there's nothing in the budget, that says that the government is buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion, and a member stands and says that the government is buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion, he has lied. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. What? Okay, so Mr. Speaker.
Enti Akwenyaba Emma Felix Kwakye Ofosu, Minister in charge of Government Communication. And good morning on Metro Television. Okopiemu, and also Obe clarify one or two things via Abu Jinapor. Number one, also Abu Jinapor chantro. Because no specific item in the budget in the car say, Abaywe at the $1.2 billion got a new presidential jet. Also, in fact, Ochechemu, Emma who are the frontier. I think say Abu Jinapor statement was correct, especially in the initial comment on the initial submission. I think it was a bit problematic and it was quite misleading for him to have said, say, Abaywe allocated $1.2 billion to purchase new presidential jets. I mean, issue no a bit expansive. Nyabotre, Nekote Felix Kwakye Ofosu. I think I have about 50-minute video this morning on Good Morning Ghana Metro Television. When the host ni bonkomo on the Sanche Winba or say Abu Jinapor and Trona Utaye.
Honorable Alassane Tampuli says the budget is bound to fail.
Well, on the evidence of what has happened after the 2025 budget was read, that assertion cannot be further from the truth. I mean, it is the most bizarre assertion anybody can make on the basis of the evidence on the ground. I will see the economy that we are seeing today is better in every respect than the economy that we inherited. And as I had opportunity to say when I debated on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, I believe, the metrics that are used to assess economic performance show that this economy is doing much better than it was under the NPP. All the 18 indicators or so, almost all of them that are used to do the assessment are better. They missed almost all their targets under the IMF program last year. This year we are on course. We set a primary balance target of surplus of 1.5%. We've done 1.6% as we speak. We've even exceeded the target. I can see this year the Ghana cedi has appreciated by 34%. Within the same period last year, it depreciated by 27%. It has moved from 17 cedis to around 12 cedis on the forex below market. Interbank, it is at 11 cedis this morning. So had our debt has reduced from 764 billion to 628 billion. So if your debt reduces, is it better or is it worse? So any claim that somehow there is something wrong with this economy cannot be true on the basis of the facts. And I've always indicated here that Ghanaians are rational people. So they are able to assess facts and sift out facts from falsehood. So all that the NPP has done in the absence of any tangible basis to offer criticism is to peddle falsehood about what they say is a prioritization of presidential jets. You see, it began with a lie, unfortunately started by my good friend, the Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapor. He said that we had budgeted $1.2 billion to buy 4 helicopters and 2 presidential jets. I can see that is an untruth. We have not budgeted $1.2 billion to buy 4 helicopters and 2 presidential jets. He also says that of all the problems we have in this country, we want to invest $1.2 billion in retooling the military. You see, there are 2 flaws inherent in that argument. The first argument, inherent in what Abu Jinapor said and what the NPP is saying now, is that security is less important than other sectors. That's what they are saying. So that if you spend on security, it is a misplaced priority. Akwesi, the accounts have a saying, and I know that you are, because you are a can, you are a good tree speaker. They say, once name Yashwe Krano of a parent. Now, in other words, the house fly, at the very least, can wipe its spout, even if it is unable to do anything else. You see, the first and foremost responsibility of every government anywhere in the world is to secure the territorial integrity of that country. That is the first responsibility of any government. What defines us as Ghana is that we have borders that set us apart from our neighbors. So that's what they call territorial integrity. That territory must at all times remain intact. So it is the first responsibility of every government to do so. So anybody who argues that security is less important than any other sector is simply peddling falsehood and dabbling in convenient arguments. There's a reason why we have an armed forces which is established by the Constitution of Ghana. There's a reason, otherwise there will be no need for an armed forces. So when you have an armed forces whose duty it is to secure your territorial integrity, proof you against both external and internal aggression, you need to equip them to be able to do that job. The reason why you and I can go and sleep soundly is that there are people whose job it is to ensure that any threat that emanates from outside or inside is dealt with. Those people cannot use their bare hands to do that job. So you need to equip them to do so. So this government, having taken over and carrying out an assessment, and you see, because of where I sit, I see the reports that the security agencies themselves submit regularly to the National Security Council and the President and the Ministry of Defense on a regular basis. And when you read it, the NPP government basically left our armed forces bare. They didn't leave them in a situation where they can adequately guarantee our territorial integrity and protect us from external aggression. And because you know that in recent times, the threat is coming closer and closer because of the happenings in the Sahel region. As I speak to you, vast swathes of Mali is under the control of terrorists. We hear them move into Benin, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, and other places. So every country within this region has the duty to make preparation to defend their citizens against such aggression. And the NPP is saying that if you allocate resources to retool your armed forces to do the very job they are established to do, it is a misplaced priority. The people who spent $98 million digging a hole and wanted to spend $1 billion to build a cathedral now say that retooling your armed forces to defend the nation is a misplaced priority. So that's the first point. The second point is that we have not set aside $1.2 billion to buy 4 helicopters and 2 presidential jets. If you read the budget, the minister was clear. We have plans to purchase 4 helicopters. We call them Eurocopters. They have specific specifications. So when the minister comes to Parliament, the finance minister, who is also defense minister, comes to Parliament to lay the bill for the approval of the resources to purchase them, we will see the details. That is there. There are 2 jets, a medium range jet and a long range jet. I could see when they were in power, they paid $40 million to an Israeli company to supply 19 armored personnel carriers. But the company has refused to supply it because they signed an agreement that says they should pay $80 million. Until they pay the $80 million, the equipment won't come. And the $40 million too, they say they won't refund because the DDEP and debt default has ensured that the $40 million has been eroded. So they've dashed $40 million to the company. So we have taken a decision that in order to get the 19 armored personnel carriers, we will pay the $40 million so that we get it, because it is useful equipment that the military need. In addition to that, today we don't have one seaworthy vessel that can patrol the Gulf of Guinea and secure our territorial waters. There have been many instances where, let me make my point. I'm saying seaworthy.
I'll come to you.
Listen.
No. I mean, this is false.
But you see, you can't do that, Honorable. When you were speaking, I disagreed with you. I kept quiet.
But I need to just put it on record that
but you will have the opportunity.
I was coming from the ministry.
You will have the opportunity.
And I was in vessels.
You have the opportunity to
I was
do
the former.
Honorable, you see,
please.
You have the floor. You have the floor.
It's not fair.
You have the floor.
It's not fair. With the greatest respect,
you have the floor.
Look, I'm talking about seaworthy vessels. Why? When President Mills was president, he gave the Navy vessels, but they are not seaworthy. They can't do their job. That's what I'm saying. So the fact that you may have gone to commissions of it doesn't mean they are operating.
To patrol the borders of the country.
The people who use those vessels, the Navy, have come. Oh, but why? My point is clear enough. When I finish and you have accountable, you can say so and provide evidence to back it. I'm saying that President Mills gave vessels to the Navy before he became transport minister. But it doesn't mean that those vessels can work now. The people who use the vessels have reported that they don't have the capacity. Look, we received about 2 or 3 intelligence tips, one from the US, one from Nigeria, about the activities of pirates in the Gulf of Guinea, engaged in piracy and bunkering. In other words, illegally offloading oil that is stolen into another vessel. Ordinarily, it is our duty then to dispatch vessels immediately to intercept them and arrest the offending party. But we couldn't do it because we don't have the seaworthy vessels to do so.
This year?
Yes, this year. In fact, since we came to power, and even before we did. So because of that, plans are to secure 2 new vessels. Long-range vessels that can do this job because it is necessary. Piracy is a major issue because we have what we call the exclusive economic zone and our territorial waters to protect. That is what defines us as a country. We don't have it. So the minister says that we will make these procurements. The minister has done multi-year budgeting because we can't do all the retooling in this year. So up to 2029, there will be similar allocations to ensure that is done. But I could see the 4 helicopters and the 2 jets, plus the 19 armored personnel carriers and the 2 vessels I'm talking about, all won't amount to $3 million. In fact, I can give you I can give you the price of the 4 helicopters.
Yes.
It is 125.9 million euros. I'm sure it will be around $130 million if you do the conversion.
For the entire, all the things.
For the 4 helicopters.
Not 1.2 billion.
I'm saying that if you add all the things we are buying this year, the 4 helicopters, the 2 jets, the medium and long range jets, the armored personnel carriers, and the vessels.
The vessels.
They won't add up,
the vessels are 2.
They won't add up beyond $300 million. So the claim that we have spent $1.2 billion is false. And it is intended to carry displeasure for government by a party that is desperate to score some political points. What Abu Jinapor said was false. And indeed, you saw how the majority leader embarrassed him. Then later he came to try to use some, bizarre extrapolations to justify that position. When he got up in Parliament, he said that we were going to spend $1.2 billion to buy 4 helicopters and 2 presidential jets. Is that not what he said? But I'm telling you, that is not the case. It is not true. So the 2 points I seek to make on this matter is that, first of all, security investment is as important as investing in education, health, agriculture, or any other place. Because it's one of the things that is the responsibility of government. So any government doing that cannot be said to be engaged in a misplaced priority. That argument is not acceptable. It's not tenable. It is impossible to accept that as logical. Then in 2027, another set of equipment will be purchased for the armed forces and security agencies. 2028, the same will happen. 2029, because we need to be in a state of readiness to tackle both external and internal aggression. If you look into the budget, we even have plans to purchase 100 fire tenders for the fire service, because fire outbreaks occur. Indeed, the last time they were retooled that way was under President Mills, when I think another 100 or so fire tenders were purchased for them. How can any reasonable person be opposed to an effort by the government of Ghana to retool the armed forces? How is that even an issue? How can that be the case? How can an MP stand up in Parliament and oppose the retooling of the armed forces? An armed forces that is deprived of requisite equipment. Look, as I speak to you,
Is the cost or the retooling itself?
But otherwise, what is the issue? You see, when you retool, it will come at a cost.
The amounts going in.
First of all, what is the problem with the amount itself? If you spend $300 million, $400 million, or $500 million to retool your armed forces, why? There are countries. The USS Gerald Ford, which is the latest aircraft carrier that the US has, cost billions of dollars. Why? In America, are there not people who need accommodation? People who need to go to school, who need to go to health? But it is the duty of the government to protect the people of America, just as it is the duty of Ghana to protect the citizens. But when you get up in Parliament and you tell an obvious lie,
all right,
that we are going to spend $1.2 billion to buy 4 helicopters and 2 presidential jets, you must be called out, and that is why the majority that called him out. I don't expect my friends to continue on this trajectory, knowing the fact. But as I indicated, the defense minister and also finance minister will be in Parliament with the bills to, because it's an international financial transaction. He will be in Parliament to seek parliamentary approval. The details will come out. But it is not $1.2 billion to buy helicopters and 2 presidential jets this year. It's more than the equipment we are buying are more than that. The amount is about a third.
In fact, you have listed about
exactly. In fact, I would say this is in the budget. If you read the budget, you will see it.
Right.
But again, let me also make the point. That you see, contrary to the claim,
then I'll come to it.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
In 1 minute.
No problem. Contrary to the claim that all we have done is to focus on retooling. Look, if you look into this budget, this year, government is going to spend 90.5 billion Ghana cedis on compensation. In other words, the salaries of public sector workers. 90 billion. Because is that not money directly transmitted to the pocket of Ghanaians? Good. So, yes, true. Yes, true. So, if you say that our focus has been the purchase of military equipment and president, it is false.
Was it in last year's budget? We were paying for
please. But you see, I don't know why.
Let me finish. In 1 minute, I'm coming.
But you see, I think that you need to enforce the rules. It's not fair.
In 1 minute, I'm coming. Please land.
This year, we are spending 33.3 billion on education. 33.3 billion is roughly around $3 billion. We are spending 30 billion on roads, big push. That is another $3 billion. Not so. I can see we are giving 4.2 billion Ghana cedis to free SHS. That's in excess of $1.5 billion. We are giving $680 million to agric mechanization. So we are setting up 50 farmer service centers. Exactly. How can anybody say that? Exactly. I can see we are giving 245 million cedis to the Ministry of Agric to purchase food through the buffer stock. In order that the glut that is happening is also addressed.
Yes.
In Nkukon is being financed. I can see 3 billion cedis, another $1 billion is going to be spent on the construction of 10 kilometers of roads in every constituency. Indeed, if you come to AAK, I know that because as I speak to you, roads like Asebu to Bremso, Abakrampa Junction to Abakrampa, Abrodunkwa, and Mori to Aketichwa are on the verge of being constructed. And yet we say that our focus is on retooling. Let me
Abu Jinapor, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, Anna Oten, and Kami so we are impressed with the answers that he gave there. I mean, what you make of the video? Leave your comment in the comment section. I feel we are like it, not wash enough for France and you be share. The patron and Jan to TV many person in Kumia. Video be share, then phone be share. But before you go, no, click the subscribe button. Me. You any more this I think the next episode will be with Dr. Samuel Kojo Jantua, the Sekatua man, right here on Nana Jantua TV. Meeting at the Stephen Zando Makramo.